Well, welcome to this special IT Channel Oxygen podcast, and I'm delighted to be joined here today by Wendy Shearer, who is Director of Partnerships and Ecosystems at Pulsant. Welcome, Wendy.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here, Doug.
Yeah, and you have built a partner program from scratch at Pulsant, so we've got a lot to talk about over the coming 4 episodes. But in episode 1, I'd just like to go back to the beginning. So could you just take us back to 4 years ago when you joined Pulsant? So as a former partner leader at Trustmark and Computer Centre, how familiar were you with Pulsant when you joined?
Yeah, when I arrived at Pulsant, which was almost 5 years ago, having spent sort of 25 or so years in the channel, I knew what a data centre was. I just hadn't really given it too much thought. Everything that I'd focused on had been about the solutions that were going into the data centre as opposed to the data centre itself. So I arrived and it was this like eclectic mix of like technology. So obviously a lot of technology solutions going in it, but then also real estate because everyone talks about like square footage and space. And then also the mechanical and engineering element, which is all about like the power and the cooling and the generators and things. So it was, a lot to learn about. But I think that's quite common in the channel. I think, I'm on a bit of a mission now to try and help people understand a little bit more, sort of demystify the data center industry a bit and, what are they and why should people care? But I guess also Pulsant is more than just data centers. So we don't just do co-location. All of our data centers are connected together. So I had to learn more about the sort of secure networking and why that was important. And then also we have our own IaaS platforms in 3 different regions. So again, leaning more into the technology of infrastructure as a service.
Great. And you're leading partnerships for Pulsant. So what is the partner strategy and why are partners the focus for 2025?
Yeah, so when I joined, Pulsant at that point was really known as being a managed service provider. So we had all these facilities, but we delivered a lot of services right through to like on people's premise and things. So there was a huge variety of services. And our investors made an intentional decision. Actually, we were going to lean much more into digital infrastructure and step back from a lot of the range of managed services that we'd historically been providing. So there was a bit of a pivot for the business, but actually, like all things like that, it opened up a really great opportunity because what we recognized was there's a huge gap here for service providers to leverage our investment in digital infrastructure for them to build products and services that they want to take to market, whether that's a sort of standard product that they want to take out and scale, or whether it's something bespoke to their particular client needs. So I guess like with all change, there comes opportunity. And we saw that was really ripe for effectively a sort of partner program. Pulsant's a really nice sized company. There's only sort of around about 300 people. So I could go and talk to the exec team about it. And they were really supportive and allowed me to go and, create my own partner program.
Great. Well, and there was a huge bit of news earlier this year. SCC sold 2 of its data centers, and Pulsant was the company that acquired them. So, once and for all, can you just tell us more about the rationale for that deal from your perspective?
The data centers is a bit of an interesting point in time because what we're seeing in the data center world is obviously huge and increasing demand for data centers. So, in the world of AI and things and increased workloads, everybody's getting a bit nervous about, is there going to be sufficient space? Is there going to be sufficient cooling and power for all these advanced workloads? So there's a big increase in demand for data centers. But on the other hand of that, you've also got a lot of organizations who maybe historically had their own data center, and they're really expensive capital assets to own and operate. They need continuous investment, and clearly people have to make decisions about where they're going to put their budget. So actually, there's a lot of people who've got their own data centers who are looking to divest those assets and, put that money somewhere else. So we have a head of corporate development who's constantly analysing the market and looking for ones where they're a good fit for us. And ultimately, that's exactly what SCC had. They had 2 fantastic facilities, one in Birmingham and then one in Fareham, right down on the south coast. So they were 2 geographies that we weren't in before. So great from a sort of regional fit for us. They were really high quality facilities. So delighted that we managed to bring those into the family, if you like. And then from my point of view, SEC clearly is such a well-known brand in the market with, a huge services portfolio. So it's great for us to be able to start to work with SEC to offer the rest, the other 12 data centers out to their teams to think about how could they leverage those to their advantage and, how do we grow together.
Great. Well, no, thanks for explaining that. And thanks for joining us today. So that concludes the episode. But we will be back for the next episode where we'll be talking about, I'll be asking you about your partner program bugbears and then asking you how you applied that to building Pulsant's partner program from scratch. So join us then. And thank you for joining us today, Wendy.
Great. Thanks, Doug.